Hey guys, welcome to Still Standing by God's Grace. First, I want to start by giving all the praises to the Most High. I wanted to come on here and do a video today about the aftermaths of being raped. When I was a teenager, I was raped by somebody in my neighborhood. I want to give my accounts on what happened to me before, during, and after. Even years down the line, the effects that it has on me to this day. I was raped. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We all know the YouTube thing. I've learned about the YouTube thing that you can't say the actual word, so you have to say raped. But I was raped when I was a teenager, 16 years old, and I knew the guy from my neighborhood. I will say his name throughout this video, or sometimes I would just say his initials, which is SJ. But his name was Sean. And like I said, I knew him from the neighborhood that I was in. Now, growing up, I used to love being in my grandmother's house. All the grandkids, I always wanted to be in my grandmother's house. So even as a teenager, I was at my grandmother's house. You could pretty much say I was living with her, even though I wasn't living with her, but I was there so much that you would think that I was living with her. And SJ was from the neighborhood. But anyway, I had a very good friend at the time. I would not say her name at all. But my good friend was pregnant with her first child. But I'm going to stop right there and go back a little bit. I am extremely nervous, y'all. I'm extremely nervous because I do not like being on camera, for one. For two, I don't like putting my personal business out there for nobody to know. I was led to tell the things that has happened to me in my life. I know we have all been through some stuff. We all have been through some stuff, and we all gonna go through some stuff. This is not the end. I'm just praying to God that never happened to me again. But me personally, I have been through so much in my life, and I have been feeling led by the Lord, like I said, to tell my stories in hopes of it may be able to help somebody else who has gone through it, or somebody else who may go through it, or maybe to help family or friends around them to try to help them through it. Because it's not easy. When something like that happens to you, it destroys your life. It destroys your life. Now, like I said, I had a good friend that was pregnant, and we used to hang around in the neighborhood all the time. My friend's mother lived in the neighborhood, but while my friend was pregnant, she was staying with another family member. And this particular night, after we got done hanging out and stuff, she was ready to go home. But it wasn't nobody around to be able to take her home. So we saw SJ riding by. We stopped SJ and we asked SJ. SJ is his initials. His first name and his last name is SJ. His first name is Sean. Okay? So, we asked SJ to take her home. He agreed to it. He said he would take her home. Y'all please forgive the loud noises. I'm at my mama's house right now. She lives on a busy street. And right now it is traffic time. But anyway, SJ agreed to take her home. And she said that she didn't want to ride with SJ alone. The only way she would get in the car with SJ is if I went. And anybody that knows me, my family, they know I'm a really, really good friend. I love everybody to the core of me. I have put people above me my whole life. I'll be more concerned about your safety than I will be about mine. And as a friend, that's what you do. You be there for your friends. You be there for your loved ones. So that's what I call myself doing. So I agreed to ride with her or ride with them to take her home to where she was going. Y'all forgive me for keep looking off, but I'm trying to look and see what's going on around me. And it's another thing about when you have been great, you try to stay aware of your surroundings. You don't beforehand, but after the fact you do. Now, we had got in the car with SJ and we took her home. We made it over there, no problem. On the way coming back, after she got out, I told him that the only way I would ride back with him is if I was driving. He agreed. That's fine. I can drive. Okay. So I got in the driver's seat. Because if I wasn't driving, I was just going to walk back. So we got halfway back to the neighborhood because he lived in the same neighborhood. Like I said, we got halfway back to the neighborhood and he said he wanted to drive the rest of the way. So I told him if he drive, I was going to get out and I was going to walk. And he said, that's fine. So I got out the driver's seat. Excuse me. So I got out the driver's seat and I started walking. He got in the driver's seat and he started driving. He pulled off, went up a street and turned down another street. The whole time I was watching him because we always get that good feeling that something's off. And I had that feeling that something just wasn't right. Something wasn't right. So I watched him the whole time he was pulling out. And like I said, he went up the street, turned up one street, and then turned down the other street. And then all of a sudden he stopped. Once he stopped, I got that feeling something was off. SJ came back down towards where I was walking at. SJ had a knife in his hand. On the way taking my friend home, I didn't see no knife at all. I didn't see absolutely nothing. He was acting regular. Wasn't nothing. Where he got this knife from, I couldn't tell you. But when he came towards me, SJ had a knife in his hand. SJ walked up. SJ put the knife to my throat. walked me back to the car, told me to get in. And at that moment, all kind of things was going through my head. I honestly thought that was my last day on this earth. So to keep from leaving this earth so soon, my family not being able to know where I was at, y'all. Y'all gonna excuse my words get tied up. I talk so fast sometimes and everything just comes out, whatever. So I got back in the car on the passenger side, and he got back in on the driver's side. SJ pulled off, and he went up under the bridge because we was right there by a bridge going back to the neighborhood. He pulled over up under the bridge, parked the car. Y'all, excuse me, I'm new to this. I am new to this. That's what SJ graped me at, up under a bridge. And I saw cars riding by, but nobody never stopped to see what was going on. Every car passed by us, never stopped. Anyway, after SJ was done graping me, he let me leave. But before he let me leave, SJ told me that I better not tell nobody, because he knew where my people lived at, which he did. Like I said, we was all in the same neighborhood. You know, when you're in a neighborhood, everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows where everybody live at. So that was a no-brainer. He knew exactly where my family lived. So I got out the car and I walked the rest of the way home to my grandmother's house. Now, let me say this about my grandmother, because I don't want to keep on saying grandmother. Yeah, she's my grandmother, but we all call her mama. So when I say mama, I just say mama number 2, because she was just like a mama to all of us. So I started walking back to mama number 2's house, crying my heart out. Tears was rolling down my face. I could not believe that something like that happened to me, because I always used to be the type of person that if this happened or if that happened, I'll do this and I'll do that. That day I found out what we think we would do in a situation, we really don't know until we're in that situation. Because I did absolutely none of the things that I said I would do if I was ever in that situation. So I walked home, like I said, and I cried the whole way walking home. I walked past my auntie. I walked past a lot of family members. I walked past friends from the neighborhood, crying the whole time. And when I got to mama number 2's house, I walked past her and I went upstairs and I grabbed all my stuff and I went to the bathroom and I took me a shower. I took me a shower because I felt dirty. You see people in movies when they say, or they show scenes where people are scrubbing their skin and you scrub it. That's exactly how I was. I was scrubbing. I didn't want to feel like any part of him was on me. So I kept washing and washing and washing. The whole time crying. Crying and washing. Crying and washing. Scrubbing, shall I say. I got out the shower and I called a best friend of mine. At the time, I was going with this guy. I'ma call him S.O. I was going with S.O. and S.O. had a cousin, and me and his cousin we was super duper close. He was like a brother to me. To this day, I call him my brother. I let it go. I told JJ everything that just happened. I told JJ what SJ said to me. So, JJ didn't live in the neighborhood, but the very next day, JJ most definitely made his way over to the neighborhood to come and be with me. Like I said, he was like a brother. Not he was like, but he is like a brother to me. Still to this day. Still to this day. That's my brother. But anyway, after I got out the shower, I just could not stop crying. I cried the whole night. That night, I couldn't sleep in the bed. I slept in a chair. That was the only way for me to be able to sleep. It was by sleeping in a chair, balled up in a ball. It took me a while to finally go to sleep, but I eventually dozed off. And it was like that every single night. If I didn't have one of my little cousins sleeping with me, I had to sleep in a chair, balled up, in fear of SJ coming and doing me in. But anyway, the next day came and JJ came over. JJ came over and we had walked up to my cousin's house. My cousin didn't live that far from mama number 2. So we had walked up there, sat up there for a little bit, you know, telling him everything that had just happened to me. All over again, because I just told it to him on the phone, but he knew I needed him. He knew I needed him at that moment. So we had left my cousin's house. As we was walking back down to mama number 2's house, I saw SJ running down the hill. When I saw SJ running down the hill, in my head, he was coming for me. SJ was coming for me, is what I thought in my head. What I didn't know is JJ called my ex-boyfriend S.O. and told my ex-boyfriend S.O. that I got raped. S.O. lived in the neighborhood. S.O. knew my family. S.O. told my family. He told my cousin. And anybody from the neighborhood that know my cousin know my cousin did not play. He did not play. So, I'm running. When I saw SJ running down the hill, I took off running. I'm trying to beat him back to my grandmother's house. As I was running, I was looking through the sides of the apartments to make sure I was going to beat him there. As I saw him running, I saw like 20 guys running behind him. My cousin was one of them. He was in the front. SO was right there beside my cousin. And a lot of more other people from the neighborhood, a lot more other guys from the neighborhood was right behind them. I didn't stop. I kept running. Hoo-wee, baby. They called SJ. They beat SJ. They beat SJ some awful. Well, I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know JJ told SO, which was my ex. I didn't know my ex had told my cousin. And I didn't know that my cousin told his mama, which is the auntie that I had walked past that night, walking home crying. Well, my aunt had called everybody in the family and told everybody what had happened. So my mama, not my grandmama, but my mother got word on what happened. She came and then she called my dad. My dad came and picked me up and he took me to his side of the family house. And when I got up there, they questioned me and asking me everything, and I told them everything that had happened. As scared as I was to tell anybody, I was terrified, y'all. I'm not gonna lie at all. I was terrified. But I told them. And then they called the police. The police came. I had to tell them what happened. They took me to the hospital to get the rape kit done. And they gave me birth control to take right then. Reason being, because SJ didn't use protection. So they had to test me and give me birth control to make sure I didn't get pregnant behind that raping. And I would never ever forget this. As bad as I want to forget it, I'll never forget it. I remember it like it was yesterday. Every single detail on what happened. While I was sitting there waiting for the doctors to do this and do that and everything they was gonna do, I heard my daddy going off. He was flipping out and the police was grabbing him, and I'm like, what's going on? I look up, SJ is right there. Woo-wee. Baby, SJ was right there. The police had him. They had him in handcuffs and they was taking him to go get checked out because, like I said, my cousin and a lot of more people from the neighborhood, they had beat SJ up pretty bad. They beat him up pretty bad. So I'm back scared. The most fear that I've ever had at this point in my life. I'm terrified, y'all. Once again, because I was thinking to myself, I wasn't gonna never see this fool no more. I wasn't gonna go back to the neighborhood. I was, no. I didn't want to run into SJ ever again in my life. Well, after that, leave the hospital. I had to go get I had to go to the police station to do a lineup. There was absolutely no problem. As soon as they laid it out, that's him. That's him right there. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, cool. SJ is about to go to jail. SJ is gonna be gone for a while. Go back to my grandmother's house, mama number 2, and I'm back staying over there because I just love being with mama number 2. I love the neighborhood and I love being over there. So I went back to mama number 2's house. But every single night I had nightmares. I couldn't sleep. They really couldn't get no evidence from off of me because after SJ raped me, I had went home and I jumped in the shower and I scrubbed for a long time. So the only thing they can go off was my word. So I felt it was my fault as to the reason why he was able to do that to the 11-year-old. And still to this day, I have to admit, I still kind of blame myself for that. Because had I not done what I done, he wouldn't have had no opportunity to do what he done to her. He wouldn't have had the opportunity to do that to her. And I never got to meet her because she was from a totally different neighborhood. But you know how the word on the street, you know how it goes. But I most definitely know for a fact that he did rape her because it was on the news. And I felt it was my fault. It was my fault why that happened to her. I have thought about her so much. I still think about her to this day. I know she's likely, you know, she's most definitely grown now. She's most definitely grown now. But I still think about her. And I still feel the blame. Now, the aftermath of being raped. What a lot of people don't know, a lot of people don't talk about, but it takes a toll over you. Because you try your best to forget about it, but it's just something that you never can forget about. Not only that, but it damages you as a person. I don't want to say everybody, but it most definitely damaged me. I don't trust nobody. I don't trust absolutely nobody. And I hate that. I truly hate that I don't. I don't trust nobody. I have 4 kids now. And when I tell y'all, my kids don't get to go nowhere. They have never spent the night at a friend's house. I don't let them spend the night with family. The only family members they have ever spent the night with is my sister, my mama. They have spent the night with their dad's daddy maybe like 1 or 2 times. I want to say maybe 1. It may be 2, but I'm pretty sure it's probably 1 time. And then their dad's aunt, they have spent the night over there one time. That's it. But as far as my mom and my sister go, I don't too much let them spend the night over there as well. Not because I don't trust them, or not because I think they're gonna do something to my kids, but because the fear of anything happening, and I'm not there to save them. I'm not there to help them when they may need me the most. So I don't let my kids go nowhere. I don't. They are always with me. They are always with me. I don't want them to never, ever experience anything like that. I don't never want them to ever be hurt in no way, shape, or form. So I keep them with me. I feel that's the safest place for my kids to be at. It's with me. And it's nothing against nobody. But truth be told, I have to say it. If I don't say it, I'm not being myself. I'm not being real. I'm trying to stay out of jail. Because if anything happened to my kids, I will be in jail. Yeah, I know y'all probably thinking, you said that and you thought that when it happened to you. That was me. With my kids, it's a totally different story. That's a totally different story. I'm not going to hold back when it comes to my children. So to avoid me going to jail and be taken away from them, I just keep them with me. So, yeah, it messes you up. Your relationships, your friendships, your everything. It literally messes you up because you don't trust nobody. I don't. I'm gonna keep saying it over and over and over again because it's the truth. And I also want to say that I'm still standing. I'm still standing. That's the reason why I named this channel Still Standing by God's Grace. Because if it wasn't for God and me turning to Him and leaning on Him and on His Word, I probably would have, you know what, myself a long time ago. Being great, child. If you know somebody that's been great, or you have been great, or anything, I strongly encourage you to go talk to somebody. Go talk to somebody. Don't hold it in. If you know somebody that's being great, be there for them. If they want to talk, listen. Understand what they're going through. Because being great ain't nothing to play with. It ain't nothing to play with. And that's something that I never done. I never got help. I never want to talk to nobody. I didn't even want to talk to my family about it, and I didn't. I don't talk about it that often. I don't. My family most definitely, they know. They most definitely know. But do I talk about it? Nope, I don't. Because to me, I felt like if I talked about it, I have to relive it over and over and over and over again. And I didn't want to relive that. That was painful. It hurts. It hurts when stuff like that happens to you. It literally messes with your mental. It messes with your mental, something awful. All these years later, it still eats at you. It's something that you never forget. So if you have been raped, or if somebody in the future may get raped, please go talk to somebody. Please don't hold it in, because it will eat you alive. It will eat you alive. Trust me. It will make you want to do things to yourself that you shouldn't even be thinking about doing, because it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And like I said, to people who know people that has been raped, please be there for them. Be a listening ear. Be a listening ear. Let them know that they're not in this alone. And they got people there for them, that love them, that care for them. And don't never think that just because it's done been 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, that person has fully healed from that. Because a lot of times that's not the case. And you have people that will do something to themselves years down the line just because it's a constant reminder to you. It's a constant reminder. And I also want to tell you all that you too can still stand by God's grace. You don't have to give up, because it's not the end of the world. Yeah, it may seem like it at the time, and years down the line, it's gonna feel like that. But you are here for so much more. We all have a purpose on this earth. And sometimes we have to go through stuff, and it may be sad to say, it's sad to hear, but sometimes on this earth we go through things to be able to help the next person that may go through the same or similar situation that you did. But you can still keep standing. My wish is this video finds whoever it needs to find, to let you know that it's people out here that loves you, they will be here for you, and to never give up. Turn to God. Turn to Him, lean on Him, call on Him. Every single time you feel you can't do this no more, call his name and he will be right there for you. So until the next time, you all, y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay safe. And send a little love. Y'all have a blessed one.